Welcome to our explainer on the absolutely captivating fable of Princess Alina. Now, we're all pretty familiar with the classic myth of King Midas and his golden touch, right? But today's story takes that ancient concept and gives it a brilliantly meaningful twist. It's really going to challenge how we view wealth, power, and just human nature in general. Let's dive in. So, imagine this scenario. We're exploring the kingdom of Meherstan, a realm where literally everything the princess touches turns to solid gold. Now, for most of us, this sounds like the ultimate dream, doesn't it? Unlimited, effortless wealth right there at your fingertips. But what if that incredible power wasn't a heavenly gift at all? What if it was actually a terrifying curse, designed to strip away all pretense and expose exactly who you are on the inside?
Well, the contrast in this kingdom is just stark, and honestly, it's heartbreaking. While King Zeriab hoarded wealth to build these towering palaces, majestic thrones, and a massive army, his own people were literally starving. Every single morning, carts full of iron, stone, and wood were brought into Princess Alina's room purely for her to transform into gold. The king used this endless supply to become the world's richest ruler. Yet right outside those golden walls, the kingdom was suffering deeply. We're talking bone-dry fields, hungry children, citizens living in crumbling mud houses. That incredible wealth never ever reached them.
The true cruelty of this curse becomes terrifyingly clear when we look at Alina herself. She was starving. She literally hadn't eaten in 3 days because even water would freeze into solid gold the second it touched her lips. Then, right in the middle of her own suffering, a desperate 7-year-old boy wearing worn clothes with injured feet somehow manages to slip past the palace guards. He doesn't have any gold coins, so he asks for just one touch on his clay bottle to buy medicine and save his dying mother's life. Alina actually tries to back away to protect him, but the boy trips. In a pure, instinctive reflex to catch him from falling, her golden palm just brushes his wrist. And then, a flash of blue light and the horrifying sound of shattering glass. He didn't turn to gold. He had become a statue of pure, transparent glass, capturing his complete innocence in that tragic final moment, with a single tear literally frozen on his face. When King Zeriab rushes into the room, get this, he isn't upset about the boy's life at all. No, he's furious that the secret of Alina's changing powers might get out. He callously offers a mere 100 gold coins as compensation, telling Alina that every human has a price. It's in this moment of sheer disgust that Alina recalls her grandmother's profound warning. Daughter, gold can light up hands, not hearts. And it finally hits her. Her father is completely devoid of empathy. The angry king then puts on a heavy leather glove to physically force her compliance, but Alina shakes him off and, purely on instinct, pushes her bare hand right against his face, and instead of the usual golden light, thick black smoke fills the room. His royal robes turn to ash instantly. In a matter of seconds, this mighty, greedy king is reduced to a smoking, blackened lump of coal. It turns out, old texts that Alina later discovers revealed the true mechanics of her power. It wasn't just a golden touch. It was a mirror, reflecting the hidden reality of the human heart. If a heart is full of greed and ambition, the touch turns them to gold. If a heart is absolutely pure and innocent, holding no secrets, they become clear glass. And if a heart is blackened by cruelty, hatred, and evil, like King Zeriab's, well, they turn to coal. Realizing her power is definitely a curse rather than some heavenly gift, Alina wraps her hands in silk bandages, hides the glass boy in a cart, and uses an old map to find Wizard Zaharan, the spell's creator. She sets off on a 3-day journey toward the northern mountains, and it's actually during this journey that she finally sees the real Meherstan. She slows down and witnesses the absolute poverty and profound suffering that her father had always hidden from her behind those heavy golden palace doors. So when Alina finally tracks down the spell's creator, Wizard Zaharan, a dark secret is revealed. Decades ago, the kingdom was bankrupt from losing a war, and Zeriab held Zaharan's family hostage just to force him to cast the golden spell on the newborn princess. But Zaharan fought back the only way he could. He hid a moral trap right inside the magic. He weaponized the curse to one day reflect and expose the king's true cruel face to the world. Alina desperately asks how she can save the innocent glass boy and reverse this whole thing. Zaharan brings out a black mirror and reveals the totally impossible rules of salvation. First, a person must actively choose to willingly hold her hand. Second, their heart must be entirely 100% devoid of greed. If there is even the tiniest subconscious desire for wealth, power, or status, their soul will be trapped in gold forever. Back in the kingdom's central square, the ultimate test is set. Thousands of citizens gather as Zarin announces the rules. A royal vizier steps up, but the moment his eyes land on the king's fallen crown, a flicker of greed flashes in his mind, and he retreats in sheer terror. The irony here is just agonizing. In a kingdom that has been starved and conditioned to crave gold for so long, brave soldiers and ambitious viziers all back down. They're completely terrified that their own hidden greed will destroy them.
Then, incredibly, the tension breaks. Stepping out from that terrified crowd is Harris, a simple peasant and Alina's only childhood friend. 10 years ago, he was just a gardener's son who climbed trees and played in the dirt with her. But when King Ziryab discovered their innocent friendship, he ruthlessly exiled Harris's entire family. Now, dressed in plain, worn clothes, this humble farmer walks right up to the cursed princess, standing in stark contrast to all those greedy men who just cowered away.
Alina actually begs him to stay back, terrified she's going to lose him. Harris admits to the crowd that he does have a wish, which, as you can imagine, sends a massive wave of panic through everyone watching. But his wish is staggeringly simple. He just wants Alina to be able to eat bread, drink water, and exist in the world without fear. He tells her softly, "You will only lose me the day I leave you alone to carry this burden." As he firmly grasps her golden hand, the magical energy surges into his veins. Lightning flashes across the sky, and the golden light travels visibly up Harissa's arm, eliminating his veins, heading straight for his heart. Alina is screaming for him to let go, but he holds on. The curse probes deeply, relentlessly looking for a desire for the crown, a desire for the kingdom's gold, or even a desire to marry the princess for status. And then he breathes. Because Harris's heart only held a genuine self-sacrificing desire to save another human being from suffering, there was absolutely nothing for the curse to feed on. With a massive, beautiful golden explosion, the ancient magic shatters into thousands of tiny fireflies and floats up into the sky. The little glass boy gasps for air and runs right into his mother's arms, and King Ziryab falls to the ground as a powerless, broken man once more. In the days and months that followed, the kingdom experienced a really beautiful, sweeping resolution. Ziryab was stripped of his crown and brought before a public court, which marked the absolute end of the monarchy in Meristan. The royal treasury doors were finally thrown wide open. The hoarded gold was sold to build vital canals for the dry fields, open hospitals for the sick, and distribute grain to the hungry. Alina even took the massive golden doors of the palace and melted them down to build bridges for the public.
Months later, we witness the true, quiet, emotional peak of this story. Alina and Haris stand in the rain, back in the very garden they used to play in as children. A raindrop falls on Alina's palm and remains just water. Haris hands her a red apple. She takes a bite, and for the very first time in years, she experiences the simple, crisp taste of fruit without it turning to metal. When Haris asks how it tastes, she smiles and says it is more valuable than all the gold in the world. They stand together holding hands, with nothing transforming. Just two people with empty hands but completely full hearts.
This story of Meristan endures because it really forces us to look inward. Greed hardens us into cold metal, cruelty turns us into dark ash, and pure innocence renders us as fragile as glass. But selfless love? That's the ultimate magic. It's the only force truly capable of breaking the curses we inherit. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. If your touch revealed the true nature of your heart, what material would you become?